Is your job about to be replaced by a goose, or are you about to become the manager of a digital fleet? Well, welcome to AI Monday, everyone. I'm your host, Jeff DeVerter. Grab your coffee, settle in, and let's talk about what actually happened in AI this week, and more importantly, what it means to your weekday morning. Well, let's start with a headline that's honestly a bit of a gut punch. Block, the good folks behind Square and Cash App, just cut their workforce by 4,000 people. Now it wasn't just a standard downsizing. They are directly attributing a massive jump in productivity to an internal AI agent that they call Goose. Now, Goose helped their engineers pump out 40% more code. And because of that efficiency, Block basically doubled their revenue per employee. Wall Street noticed and their stock shot up 15%. Jack Dorsey admitted that this was a bit preemptive. Now, they're taking a massive gamble that AI is ready to be load-bearing infrastructure before it's fully proven over the long haul. Now, if you're a developer or a knowledge worker, the safe zone just moved. You can't just be a writer of code or reports anymore. You have to be the architect. You are the editor-in-chief now. Next up, some major drama in DC last week. That sure is out of the ordinary. The Pentagon dumped Anthropic and signed a massive deal with OpenAI. Now, Anthropic CEO, he refused to give the military unrestricted access to their AI for things like, mass surveillance. In response, the U.S. government labeled Anthropic a supply chain risk. OpenAI stepped in lickety-split to fill the gap, which led to a massive internal revolt from their own employees and a 300% spike in ChatGPT uninstalls in a single day. It's a classic standoff. Do we prioritize ethical guardrails or national security capability? This tension is causing massive volatility in which tools are actually allowed in certain industries. Now, this matters because the tools that you rely on day to day could be gone tomorrow based on a boardroom argument, which oftentimes has literally nothing to do with the tool's technical capability to get the job done. So if your company's compliance team gets spooked by a vendor's new policy, your entire workflow could be deleted overnight. Do you think this will drive more companies to on-prem AI? Kind of makes you wonder. Also, I would highly encourage you not just to use the AIs, of course, that's what this is all about, but to document which tools you're using and what they're doing. Now, in our third story, we're moving fast past chatting with AI. We've entered the era of the autonomous agent. New tools like Simular's Psi or Read AI's Ada are basically digital twins. They live on a virtual desktop or inside your email 24/7. They don't wait for you to prompt them. They negotiate meeting times and update spreadsheets all while you have lunch or while you sleep. Now, vendors say this frees us up to be more human, but security teams are terrified, and rightly so. An unmonitored agent with full access to your CRM? Well, that's a massive backdoor for hackers. Imagine walking into work on any given Tuesday and your AI has already handled 50 emails and updated the budget. Your primary job is shifting from task execution to digital fleet management. But something that's super important here to remember, these are intelligent human interns. These are rule sets, making decisions on your data, on your files, and your email. Tread lightly here, my friends. You might wake up to an empty email server like some we've seen in the news recently. And finally, let's talk about the physical office. Meta has sold over 7 million pairs of smart glasses, and it's changing the, quote, cone of silence that we used to take for granted inside the office. Investigations have revealed that footage recorded by these glasses are often reviewed by human contractors at third-party firms to train that AI. Now, Meta says that the wearers agree to these terms, but the people around the wearer, like you or your boss or your clients, well, they never consent to being part of a training set. Now, that whiteboard session or off-the-record water cooler chat isn't necessarily private anymore. You see, physical security, is now data security. Everything, all roads lead back to data these days. Companies are even starting to use jammers like the Spectre One just to have private conversations in the boardroom. When you look at all of these four stories together, a common thread emerges. It's the great swap. It's begun. We're swapping out human headcount for the AI Goose agents. We're swapping out vendor loyalty for compliance needs. And we're swapping out manual inboxes for autonomous twins. And we're even swapping out our physical privacy for the convenience of wearable tech. So here's something that I want you to think deeply about this week. Are you still trying to be the best doer in the office, or are you learning to be the best director of agents? If your value is tied to how many emails you send or how many lines of code you write, you're competing with agents that don't sleep and cost a fraction of your salary. But if your value is tied to judgment, to ethics, to orchestrating these tools, you become indispensable. The Goose can write the line of code, but it can't decide if that line of code is the right thing for your company's future. Only you can do that. I was just having this conversation with one of my amazing clients in Cleveland this past week. Now, if your company is serious about AI and not just experimenting with it, but actually turning it into real business results, I want to talk to you. I run a one-day AI strategy workshop through Pythian where your company leaves with a couple of things: a scored readiness assessment for AI, a prioritized use case registry, and a 90-day roadmap with phase 1 ready to execute. No more POC purgatory. No more pilots that show promise but go nowhere. Real results in 90 days, or we don't even start. The link, it's down in the description. Reach out directly. I, of course, read every message. Until next week, my friends, keep building with your AI tools, and I'll see you next Monday.